let's just get into it. So I wanted to come on and talk about why is having integrity so important in leadership, because I believe that integrity is one of the basic fundamentals of leadership. I believe that you can't be a good leader or a great leader without it. And here's why. So in a nutshell, leaders are the ethical and moral compass of an organization. So leaders can use their influence, whether it's with their team or the board or senior managers, their peers. Basically, they can use their influence for good or evil. You know, it's probably not quite as dire as that, but how a leader acts and whether they do the right thing actually can build up and reinforce a team, individuals, and also a company, or it can actually destroy one. It also can have a significant impact on the culture, the trust of customers, the trust of employees, both in your team and outside of your team. So it's just really one of those critical points of being a leadership. Do you have integrity? Can you be trusted to do the right thing? Now, let me tell you a bit of an example from my real life. Now, I won't name the company, but I did work for a company for a very short period of time where I was fairly new. I'd only been there a matter of weeks, and I'd already seen a couple of things that I wasn't keen on that troubled me. But the catalyst for me was my office at the time was right near the CEO's office. And I could hear the CEO, as could everybody on that floor, screaming at a bunch of his senior leaders, swearing, belittling them. His door was open. Everybody could hear it. People were uncomfortable on the floor. And he seemed to also be screaming at them about a decision he had made that he had asked them to put in place that didn't go as planned. And this went on for the best part of 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I was a bit new, and this was a while back in my career, so I was still unsure about my confidence coming into a new role. And, you know, I questioned whether I should go and intervene at the time. I didn't. That's probably a lesson for me to learn. But what I did was, after that meeting was over, I did go in. I knocked on the door of the CEO, asked him if I could have a minute. And I shut the door behind him, and I said to him, I heard that conversation. It was really loud, and I'm sure everybody on the rest of the floor could hear that. They could hear you screaming at them, you calling them names, you swearing at them. Now, I thought he would be mortified, and I thought he might go, oh my God. He didn't. What he did was, he said, yes, I left the door open. I wanted everybody to hear it because I wanted everyone to know what fucking happens to you if you don't do a good job in this place. And I took a deep breath, and I was like, because that was not the response I was expecting. So I hadn't really thought past that part of the conversation. I really thought he was going to be apologetic and whatever. I didn't expect that he would say, yes, I did. And, you know, I want everyone to hear it. And I said to him, I'm not sure if that's the best way. No, I actually said, I don't think that's the best way to get the best out of your team and to resolve issues. And he responded to me, I don't fucking pay you to think. I pay you to do as I say. Now fuck off. That was the moment. So I'd seen some red flags. That was the moment for me as a leader, and particularly as a leader in HR. I resigned. I resigned immediately. I didn't call my husband, or my boyfriend at the time, which is now my husband. I didn't call anyone for advice. I immediately resigned. And it was really difficult because I was also worried about leaving some of the people there. There was some really good people there. I was worried that I was leaving them in the lurch when they were so excited to have me on and have a real HR kind of person, which they told me they hadn't really had real HR before. I was worried about how I put that job on my career, my resume, moving out of it. I had some concerns, but I just felt within myself, this was a decision. It had to be made, and I was making it now. I didn't have trust and confidence in my leader, which was the CEO who I reported to. I didn't have confidence in him to not only behave ethically, morally, and appropriately, but when I raised these things with him, there was no question, there was no, maybe I need to come at it different. I knew that he wasn't up for taking advice and that this was the way he treated his people. And I'd had some inklings of that because after I got there, as you do, a lot of people come and talk to HR about things. And then I really saw there was going to be no change why this particular leader was in place. It was also really interesting to me that that business had been doing reasonably well, but not within the last year or two. There'd been a high turnover of key people. The business had been going downhill financially. There had been struggles. I believe that that was due to that leadership and how that leader was behaving with people. I subsequently left. I gave my notice. I was only there, as I said, a matter of weeks. I gave my notice. I left. 100% the right decision. And I think what's important about having integrity as a leader is leadership's not always easy. Leadership is not always baking cookies and everybody skipping around playing Ring a Ring a Rosie and everybody happy. As a leader, you've got to make some tough decisions. As a leader, you've got to be the ethical and moral compass in the organization. It doesn't matter whether you're team leader, first level leader, or whether you're the CEO, whether you're even an aspiring leader. Leaders must have integrity. Leaders must do the right thing. Now, I'm talking about, it's not where you have a professional disagreement with someone and you debate things healthy, you have a robust agreement, or whether sometimes your boss, they overrule your calls. You might want to go one way and they say, no, we're going the other. And it's still a reasonable direction, right? Because we all have someone to answer to and they're not always our call. Sometimes our boss trumps us. I'm talking about those ethical and moral dilemmas, such as this one, where you've got to make a decision as a leader. Now, I knew that this leader had been in place a while. I knew that the board were already aware of this, and I knew that there was nothing more I could do at this organization while this was the accepted practice by the senior leader and the board. However, I did get out. It was the best decision. That company, on the moral to the story, that company did reach out to me after that leader left and did offer me a role. I didn't go back in that role. However, I have helped them out in other areas. But again, leadership's not easy, but you do have to do the right thing. You do have to model those behaviors, and you do have to find that balance of what am I willing to accept as a leader, and what do I need to speak up about, or what do I need to let go? And in that decision, I spoke up and then I had to let go. Now, if you're not sure how to do that as a leader, do send me a message or contact me. I can help give you those skills in my one-on-one coaching. But that's why integrity is so important in leadership. It can affect the team. It can affect your culture. It affects how your team react to your customers. So it affects employee happiness, your business culture, your productivity, and the bottom line. Because how you treat your staff and your teams is how they're likely to treat your customers. And that's why integrity, doing the right thing, are really key leadership skills. Now, if you've got any more questions, drop a comment below. If you're watching this on the replay, put #replay for me. But I'd love to hear your questions or even your comments or experiences with both good and bad leaders. Please drop them below and let me know your experiences and what you think of integrity and where it stands in the top leadership skills. For me, I believe it's the top leadership skill that a leader has to have, or at least has to learn. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you later.